Alright, I'm back at it again with the white vans. Not playing. I'm back at it again with another video here. Actually, I have notes for this video because it was something I thought about and I was like, this is a good topic. And it pisses me off. What doesn't piss me off? Well, it does. It's confusing. Let me tell you. As you're now reading from the title of the video, it's why you should never work at a dealership, especially in this economy. Especially with the way things are going, money wise, you should never want to work at a dealership or a shop or anything that's paying flack. That's the main thing. You never want to work somewhere where you're getting paid fucking flack. It fucking blows. I have a few pinpoints. I'll start off from experience. I used to be a tech. I used to work, well, not a tech. I used to be a lube tech. I've been working on cars for, I mean, I'm 25. I've been working on cars since I don't even know. It's been a long time. I've been working on cars for a while. Since I was like 17, 18, I think. A good couple of years. We'll just say that. I've been working on cars for a good couple of years. And um I've worked at multiple places, um starting especially when I was starting off. I've worked at Take Five, terrible place to work. I've worked at, that was actually the first place I have ever drained transmission oil. Yeah, I fucking did that. It was not fun. It was not a great day. Um, and then I also worked at um, what is it? At the time, it was called Caliber Auto. They eventually got bought out, and now they're called Sundance Auto or Sun something Auto. Um, I used to work there. I worked there. That was probably the longest where I worked. And then I think after Caliber, I left working on cars and I started working somewhere else. I was working at a dealership, but I was working as a detailer. And then I moved, and I where I work now, I work for Amazon now. So I was working. Went there, and then somewhere along the line, I quit, went back to work at a dealership, and this is where we basically take off. Like when I realized working at a dealership fucking sucks. There are perks. I guess I'll get through to the perks first because the perks, there's only like three perks compared to the many cons there are to working at a dealership. One of the first perks is if you do like, if you know you do like working on your car, you have, a cool car, you have whatever the fuck you want to drive, and you want to modify it, you want to put an exhaust, you want to work on the motor, you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do, you can. At a dealership, you can. You're after hours, as long as people are there for the most part. It varies between dealership to dealership, and owner to owner. But for the most part, like when I worked at the dealership, like if I wanted to stay later, work on my car for a little bit, as long as there was someone there, I could do that. Um, that was one of the main things, is because you have access to like a lift. You have access to a lift. You have access to a plethora of tools. You have access to brake machines, the BG machines, like to work on, to do brake flushes, like way easier to do. What is it? Fuel system flushes way easier, instead of just doing like the 44K or whatever it was called, and just dumping that in your tank. You could do a full fuel system, as long as you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then might as well like have someone like train you to do that. Back when I worked at Caliber, I was getting paid hourly, so it didn't matter. But when I was working at Caliber, I was at one location, and then they ended up moving me to another location, because when I was working there, I was moving up to being part of management, and so they moved me to a different store because they were lacking in management. And one of the things I did was I had to train some of the lube techs how to use the BG machines, because they didn't know how to use them, which was which was normal, because most of the lube techs, like where I was previous at, we didn't know how to use them. I was one of the few, because when it would get slow, we would get trained. on how to use BG machines. So that's why I knew, because I was getting trained. And because I was getting higher up in management, I was becoming second in command, is what I think they called me. I had to learn how to do more stuff. I had to learn how to manage more stuff. BG learning the BG machines was one of those. Also talking to the BG guy who came in, delivered us the BG products was also another one of those things that I had to learn how to do. That honestly, working at Caliber helped me develop a lot of my customer service, my speaking to customers. That's what you would think too. Working at, because I also worked 3 years. I worked for during high school. I worked at SeaWorld. So for 3 years, you would think learning a lot from there would get me customer service. No, working at a lube shop, that's what taught me the most about customer service, how to talk to customers, how to read people. That, at least for me, at least that's what I think. Everybody's different. Everybody learns their stuff differently. But for me, that's what I learned the most from. Anyway, I'm getting way off the topic. I need to talk strictly just dealership. But that's one of the pros, is that you have access to lifts, you have access to tools, you have access to stuff that helps you. Compared to doing it at home, you don't have that stuff. Good luck trying to get a goddamn BG brake fluid machine. Those things cost like 2-3 grand. I don't know how much they cost, but I'm assuming around somewhere in the grands. They don't cost. They're not cheap. It's also the same thing like working on your AC system, HVAC. If you want to work on that at home, you can't. Unfortunately, you can't just change out your condenser. You can't just change out a pump. You can't just purge the system. You can't. Why? Because it's illegal to let it go out into the ozone. I mean, if you're caught, allegedly, if you're caught. But it's better to be safe than sorry, right? And so at a shop, you have access to an HVAC system to uh, get rid of all the refrigerant, to be able to change out the condenser, the whatever parts you need to change out, any lines. You have access to that. But you don't have it if you're not working at a dealership or a shop. Another pro. Yeah, that's it. I would say this is another pro. If you are into buying tools, you like going into debt. Hey, they have the tool trucks. Tool trucks come in, on a certain day of the week. They come in and you can buy tools. I've bought a lot of tools. I bought a lot of tools. But it also comes with the perks of that is it's, even though it's super expensive, comes with a lot of perks like a lifetime warranty for the most part. Most of the time when you're buying stuff off of there, everything is lifetime warranty. That's one of the pros. But that's usually where it ends for pros. The only other pro that I could think of is the amount of knowledge you could get. When I was working at the dealership, the guy who I was kind of like, I wasn't directly training under him, but it was super slow. So I was able to go to some of the A line techs or the master techs, and I was able to just watch them work. They would explain to me like a lot of what I learned from one of the guys there. No shit, he taught me a lot of what I know now, which is crazy because I've been working on cars for a while, but the most amount of knowledge I gained was from working under a guy at a dealership. But honestly, the only reason why I was able to gain that knowledge was because it was so slow. If it wasn't so slow, I would have never gained the knowledge that I know from him. But that's usually where it ends for pros. Now, here are the cons, and this is the main con. The main con, it is flag pay, not commission. Flag. Um, if you don't know what flag is, I'll kind of briefly tell you what it is. I guess I'll give you an example. So let's say you have an oil change and a tire rotation, and this costs an hour. So to do an oil change and to do a tire rotation, you're getting paid 1 hour for doing that. So no matter what, no matter if you finish it in 20 minutes, no matter if you finish it in 2 hours, you're only going to be getting paid for 1 hour. That's what flag pay is. Now, this could work in theory. This could generate jingles of money for many techs, and it does for a lot of techs. It does, but it only works for the techs who are really know where they're doing, know what they're looking for, and are able. The service advisors are able to sell to the customers the thing that they need, and that's how it works. Now, one of the things they did was they ended up bringing us in right a little bit before I left. They ended up bringing up all the lube techs in, and they ended up talking to us and telling us, like, we need to get faster at doing oil changes and tire rotations, right? They gave us an example of a shop here, where I'm here in Texas, shop here in Texas. Apparently they charge like $140 for an oil change, but the catch is, if they don't get it done in like 5 minutes or some shit, then it's completely free. And so they told us basically, like, yeah, this is what we want y'all to do. We want y'all to be able to finish an oil change in 5 minutes. Buddy, that's highly unrealistic. And for one of the main reasons. One, we have to take pictures of the vehicles. Safety, just to cover our asses. We have to take pictures of four corners of the vehicles, under the vehicle, everything. Just to make sure, like, if the customer comes back and says, we did damage, we have proof that we didn't. Or whatever the case may be. Because they could say, oh, this dent wasn't here, but then we take pictures prior to working on it, and that dent was already there. That's to cover our asses. That takes time. That takes, altogether, that takes like 2-3 minutes. It's already over half of 5 minutes. On top of that, we still got to get the car aligned on the lift. You have to make sure it's set to the right height to get it lifted. We have to, enter all the stuff into the computer for the system so that we could get paid for doing it. Looses ends, refilling the washer fluid, stuff like that. We have to do stuff like that. And then on top of that, if they have not even just an oil change, if they have a tire rotation, we have to do a tire rotation. Which, depending on the type of vehicle, if it's a small ass car, most of the time we're able to get it out in 20 to 30 minutes with a tire rotation and an oil change. Those are a lot more easier. But if you have like a lifted truck or a big truck with big ass fat wheels, yeah, good luck getting it done in 30 minutes. You're getting that thing done in like an hour 20 tops. You're not. At least for me. I mean, I was working hard. I was trying to work fast but efficient at the same time. But I mean, trying to get all that shit done and making sure every loose end, it's hard. It is very, very hard. And then also trying to get customers to buy BG products or upsell them on stuff like that. It's hard. Because most customers, they ain't gonna fucking buy that shit. I wouldn't. Who would? Oh, yeah, the tech recommended a BG flush for your gas. Also, a brake flush seems to be needed. Yeah, nobody's gonna buy that. When I was working, I've had times where I've recommended stuff that was really crucial, really needed, like brake rotors, brake pads. I think struts at one point. There was engine mounts. I've recommended stuff that was really needed. Customer said, no, fuck you. You're not having my money. It was so infuriating. That was one of the I was busting my ass. I was there from the earliest I could be there was like, I think 7. I was there from 7 all the way up till 5. Almost every day. I would take my 2 days off, which was, I think, Friday and Sunday. But other than that, and sometimes I would come on Fridays. I did come on one Friday and I fucked up a rim, and then I ended up having to pay for it because I fucked it up, which pissed me off, and I ended up leaving early because I was just so furious. I was like, I came in on my day off, now I'm losing money. I'm not making money. I'm fucking losing money. That's another con. If you fuck up, a rim or whatever, it doesn't come out of the company's pocket. It comes out of your pocket. So you better hope you don't fuck up something. You better hope you don't drop fucking water into the motor, or you scratch up a rim, or scratch up or pop a tire or something. You better hope you don't damage no vehicle, because the second you do, it's on you, buddy. You gotta pay. I remember that shit. That shit pissed me off. Because you guys gotta think, where I was working at, they were saying that I was gonna make 70 to 80 hours. That's how much I was gonna get paid, was 70 to 80 hours worth of work. Like, I was gonna get paid that. Didn't happen. I'd never touched close to 70 or 80 an hour. I think the highest I've ever touched in 1 week there was like 30. No, that's generous, because at the time I was also still getting paid hourly for like momentarily for my training purposes. But once that was over, I don't think I touched 30 in 1 week. But they were saying I was gonna be able to make 70 to 80 a week. That was bullshit. That's another thing. They lie too. That's another they lie. They're gonna tell you what they need to tell you to get you into the door to work for them, and then it's just not livable. It's not livable. I don't know how. You could hustle and hustle, but it's not livable. Like, it's not worth it, because there's also times when you're gonna have really good weeks. Like, there's times like a lot of the time. So during the winter, usually that's when it dies down, because everybody's buying shit for Christmas and for the New Year's and stuff like that. That's usually when it dies down. And then coming to the new year, income tax, a lot of people go fix their cars. So that's when it usually starts getting hot. But lately, like, from my experience, lately, it hasn't been like that. It has been dry as a bone for the most part. It could be different in other states or other cities or other areas. But from the places that I was working at, it was always dry. It was always barely. Like, even when I was working at Caliber, there was not a lot of people coming in. Back. I always keep getting off topic. Back to what I was saying though about the speed, and how they were giving that example of that one shop that could do it in 5 minutes, and if not, they're free, and how they wanted us to do that. Another thing was they have like 3 people touching one car. So yeah, they're able to get it. One of the things that Take Five says is, 10-minute oil change, or I think it's 10-minute oil change, or it's 5-minute oil change, because it's Take Five. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But it's 5-minute oil change, right? We'll get you in and out 5 minutes, which is a bunch of hooey. Because if they had the only way to get those numbers to get 5-minute oil changes is to have the right set of people. You have to have people who are gonna work, who are gonna hustle and bustle for that, to get those customers in and out. Most of the time, it's not. That's not how it works. It's not 5 minutes, because now, like last time I went to Take Five, I went to Take Five to get air in my tire. Now they're starting to do. They're starting to put anybody in the system at all for whatever reason, which is annoying, because it's like I go in, I want air. Like, oh yeah, well, what's your email? I'm like, well, I have to give you my email. I just want fucking air. Well, now we have to put you in our system, so that you could be, just in our system. I'm like, yeah, but I'm probably never gonna come to this location again, or y'all again. I just want fucking air. It takes 2 seconds, right? The last time they put air, and then they did a whole inspection of the vehicle. I'm like, I don't fucking need an inspection. I just want air. I want air, and I want to go. But no, they want to take their fucking time. That shit pisses me off. That's why I just do my own shit at my own place. The only thing is, I don't have an air tank, so I can't do it. I haven't bought one yet. I just don't feel like buying one. I'm too lazy. Eventually I'll buy one, but it's for another time. Anyway, this video is getting really long, so I need to cut it loose. You know what I'm saying? If you are planning to work at a dealership, don't. Unless you're going to be getting paid hourly as a lube tech or a tech. Don't. Or if you know that dealership is banking and they are super low on techs, and they need techs, and you're going to be one of the few that are going to be rolling in gravy, go for it. But if that's not what is going to happen, don't do it. I don't recommend it at all to anybody who has experience or doesn't have experience, because it's just shit. It's just shit. It's a shit job. They lie to you. They piss you off. They tell you this. They tell you that. They like to fuck you. Anyway, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.